Mike, over to you.
Thanks, Steve. Well, it's a true story of strength, courage, and brotherhood.
Rules of engagement says we cannot touch them. I understand. And I don't care. I care about you. I care about you. I care about you. I care about you. We can't do it.
Look at that soldier.
They are unarmed prisoners.
This is not a vote.
And it's that very decision that changed the lives of all four men, all members of SEAL Team 10. And today, their incredible story can be seen on the big screen.
Yep, the movie is called Lone Survivor. You got to go see it. It highlights the bravery of those men through the eyes of the only man left alive. The author and that real man joins us now of Lone Survivor, former Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell, who was awarded the Navy Cross back in 2005. Marcus, first off, it's always great seeing you. Your book was a runaway bestseller. Before we talk about that scene we just saw, tell everyone, put that in context, if you will.
Well, that's kind of the tipping point or the turning point in the operation, if you will. We'd been locked onto the target for probably a few hours, and then we got soft compromised by some goat herders, as a matter of fact, and their entire herd. So in the movie, they kind of play it differently. I think the goats walk up first, and then the villagers. Well, in real life, it was switched. The shepherds walked up on us, and once the herd came up on top of us, that definitely changed the way we were going to do business. Ultimately, we turned them loose, relocated, and then about an hour later, it all broke loose.
And Marcus, because you let them loose, they went out and told on you, and they brought in the battle, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Regrets for letting them loose? If you do it again, would you have let them go?
No, I don't even think that way. I mean, that would do dishonor and discredit to my teammates and the decision that we made. The worst thing you can do when you're in a situation like that is not make a decision. You just sit there idly and lose it. Sure. So we made the decision, we went with it, and ultimately, obviously, we were overrun by a large Taliban militia. But as a Navy SEAL, that's kind of what we pray for when the odds aren't in our favor.
Right, and fighting all the way through for freedom. When you see it played out on film and you watched it, did you feel as though it accurately represented what you went through as much as possible?
I think Peter Berg and the cast and the crew, they did a great job with what they had to work with. Obviously, you take a real-life situation and try and slam it into a book, one book, that's tough enough. And then when you want to take it from the literary sense and throw it into a movie, that's got to be almost impossible to make it flow right, because there was so much going on. But I think they did a great job with what they had, and I think if you go in there and watch the film and you come out, you have an understanding of what we went through.
Hey Marcus, you know, when you say an understanding, and I'm sure those scenes have played through your mind countless times, and it's our privilege that we even get to see what really happened there in your mind and in your opinion and in your experience. Your wife, Melanie, I know, went with you to watch it. How important was it for you to have her have a visual to what you've been through?
Well, she's got the toughest job in the world. She has to deal with me 24/7. So I mean, she knows things that obviously nobody knows. Yeah. And she's the one that I go to when I'm having a bad day and I vent and I need to talk to somebody. So she's definitely had to develop broad shoulders to carry that weight. And when she went and watched it and got the visual of it, I think that just kind of sent it all home. I remember after the movie, all she did is she walked out and she hugged me for a while. And she just felt so sorry for me. I was like, don't feel sorry for me. It's okay. It was what it was. It's all right. But yeah, no, thank God she was there with me. I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have my wife.
I remember when your book first came out and you were on the book tour, and it was not clear how successful the book was going to be. Now it's back among the bestsellers again. Now the movie's being made. And when I looked at you, I felt as though you just left the battlefield the day before. I mean, you had that game face on, and it looked like everything was raw. Have you, you look a little bit more relaxed now. Have you gotten over the at war, Marcus Luttrell?
Absolutely. And you're right. I think I'd been home a week or 2 weeks when you and I first met, after a 7-8 month push in Iraq. So being away from the flagpole, so to speak, not in the community and not doing workups and deployments and stuff like that, obviously, yeah, I'd like to say that part of me is gone. I'm not as obviously as sharp and as fast as I used to be when I was in the SEAL teams. And I'm married with kids, so that just takes it right out of you. So I don't really have anything left when it comes to that. I thought being a SEAL was hard. Good Lord, when I had kids, man, that just took it to a whole different fold.
Harder than being an Navy SEAL.
Especially my daughter.
Addie, right?
Now that the war is back in the headlines, with the Secretary of Defense's book out, and talk about the president's lack of commitment to a battle plan he signed off on. These aren't blank pages in a war in our history books. This is a land that you know. How do you feel about, if this is in fact true, the Commander-in-Chief not being sold on his own mission and 80,000 men fighting for that mission?
I haven't read the book, and just going off of what you're saying, I mean, obviously that's got to be a tough pill to swallow for the guys who are over there getting shot at when your leader is uncertain as to what the game plan is. Because if you don't have a game plan, obviously you don't know what's going on over there, or what the end state is. I think that would be tough to deal with. When I was still in and we were over there and getting after it, we knew what the objective was. So if there's no objective while they're over there, I would imagine that it's tough to get up in the morning and throw your boots on.
I would ask you guys what the rules of engagement is. I wouldn't do it from Washington. Would you hope that becomes the new rule?
I hope so. I hope the battlefield commanders are the one that set the precedence on the rules of engagement, because they're in theater. They know what's going on, and the rules of engagement can't be the same all the way across the country because they do things differently in each area. And that's one of the points that a lot of people miss. That we're dealing with a different animal right here. We can't be this shouldn't apply, kind of a deal. And for anybody to set a rule, any kind of rules on the military when they haven't been over there to see what's going on, man, that's bad news.
Hey, Marcus, you mentioned Addie.
That's my opinion.
Well, that
What's
counts.
that?
Your opinion counts. You mentioned Addie, your daughter, and I know Axe, your son, who was named after your teammate who gave his life that day.
Matt Axelson.
And, you know, ultimately they're going to read that book and watch this film. But what do you, as their dad, what do you hope they know about why you do what you do and sacrifice the way you sacrifice?
If you were to walk into my house, there's absolutely no proof that I was in the military. I don't have anything hanging on the walls or anything like that. I mean, there's one picture of the guys who died up on the mountain, and the guys from Extortion. I have that. But if they decide one day that, or to back up, I'm sorry to get to your question, I'm not going to push anything on them. I really don't talk about it too much anyways. Obviously, they're going to hear things and see things, and when that time comes, I'll explain it to them, what I did for a living and how this all played out while they were very young. And, I mean, you know, if you're, you know the deal, if you're a parent, you have no idea what's coming out of your kid's mouth from one second to the other. So I would imagine that when that question comes up, I'll have to deal with it accordingly. Even if my son or my daughter decides they want to join the military, I'm not going to push on them. My father always said, he goes, my shoes are here. You don't have to fill them, but they're there for you to walk in if you need them. And that's kind of how I'm going to approach, I think, raising my children. If they want to go in, then I'll get them ready. If they don't, well, then we'll figure out what they want to do, and I'll help them with that.
Spoken like a good dad. Marcus Luttrell, we certainly thank you for your service and for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Marcus. See you soon. I can't wait to see the movie. We're going to see you right away.
We sure
Marcus
are.
Luttrell.
All right, Ryan, take care, man.
Thanks so much. Steve?
All right.